Why? It's a lettuce knife.
Let's talk about my 5 fails for 2025 watercolor supply series.
Just finishing dinner and I realize how late it is and I have not yet made my video. We're gonna go in and we're gonna talk about my top 5 supplies for 2025 that I bought, and I'm gonna share with you my top fails. Top fails? Would you even call it top fails? Anyway, let's go look at supplies together. Okay, you know how when you don't know what you're thinking when you're ordering, you're just like going for it? So that's what I did. I just got myself some Amazon packages right now. And I'm gonna open them for you so you can see what I got. I've been using this stuff for a while now. This is one of my loves. I brought this with me to Maine. I've been using this up. Great quality paper. I've kind of stuck with a 5x7. I've got the bigger ones yet. Got 2 other kinds because one of my friends told me about them. She's an artist as well. This is, I don't know if it's Peyton or Layton or Dayton. It's a cold press, it's acid free, and it comes in a block. It's 100% cotton. I have not yet tried this one. I'm gonna try it and compare it to the Fabriano coming up. I've got 3 packages. I have another one. So let's see what this one is. I think I remember. Oh, did I get the same one? I guess I got 2 of the cold press. I thought I got a hot press and a cold press, but I might have messed that up. So here are my top. Do you want the top 5 first or the negatives? Let's do the negatives first. Number 1. Why? It's a lettuce knife. And I saw another artist use it and she said it was great for cutting your paper. And it's all right, but it's, you know, it really, I don't use it. I think I should probably put it back in my kitchen and cut lettuce with it again because I do cut myself cutting bagels. I'm like, my husband takes knives away from me. That is another reason why I bought this one. I was like, well, I won't cut myself with this one. But it just does not work. I mean, it works, but it's not great. So don't waste your money on a knife.
This is not one of my very favorites, but it's up there. I bought this one years ago. It's a stainless steel metal paper tearing ruler cutter paper tool for architects and drawing, and it's really cheap and it works perfect.
And I finally found it again. I didn't like it so much that I don't even know where I put it. And then I just found it. It's the black watercolor paper. I liked it the first time I used it. I used, and I have a demo of it, and I was like into it, but I used the metallics with this one. Actually, metallic paints is something else I probably would not buy again. I bought all kinds of these pastel-y colors in these little kits, and I never use them. Maybe I'll use them later, but you know how that goes. Like, I bought it and I forgot about it, or I should have used it and I didn't use it.
And let's face it, we all do this, and I would love to know what you bought this year that you are not using. Well, leave us a note in the comments so we can compare our notes.
It's good paper. It's good quality paper. So maybe I should give it another shot with some gouache and some snow, and maybe I'll like it better. So the next thing I got, and I was really excited about these are blank watercolor cards. The paper is all right, but it's just super textured. Let me open it, I'll show you. They have 25 cards in here. Actually, it's 50 because you get a package of 2, and it's really inexpensive. And they do have a nice little scalloped edge on them, which was nice, but I don't know if you can see the texture in there. Do you see that? So it's kind of rigid. It's got a lot of ridges in it, and it's not conducive for how I paint. I like the texture of cold press paper or rough paper if I'm doing dry brush and things like that, because it's more random. Whereas this, you get like, it's almost like your water's wearing plaid or something, because you've got all that texture in there. It does come with envelopes. So, you know, I was thinking for the holidays, if I didn't like it too much, I would just do some really simple cards on there. And you could probably use this with some nicer paper if you wanted to cut it out and then just glue it on the top. It does come with a little envelopes with it, so it's ready to go. It does work, this is where I figured it out. It does work for not watery types of images. So for these example A, wasn't a lot of wet into wet, so I didn't have the ridges, but this one is, you know, quite simple. There's not a whole lot of paint on there, not a lot of water, and if you don't have a lot of paint and a lot of water, this is good for that kind of stuff. And the metallic paint worked really, really well in it. Even though you have some things that are a loss, you might not like it, you can always use this stuff for something, right? The other thing I bought, and I was really excited about them, and I have to say I do use the roll mat that they came in. Expect the brushes to be much, it was $13. But it came with this great little portable roll, I don't even know what you call it. It's a roll set for like calligraphy, and you can keep your brushes in it and they don't get all bent. So this was great for me when I was traveling to Maine this year. So this part is a good part of this. The bad part was the brushes. I want to say there was like 9 brushes. I can't really remember. I can look it up. But I've only used them a few times, and I actually, the hairs kept coming out. You know, as with the cheaper brushes, they just tend to shed a lot. But it is soft, so if you wanted to do some soft kind of feathering, you could do that with it. But the first time I used it, like I said, I had hair everywhere. I kept pulling it out. You know, they're nice. I mean, it was like $13.97. So for all those brushes, I mean, you really can't beat it. I can't complain about it too much, but I don't use them. Speaking of another brush that I don't use that I thought I would use, I got a set of scrubber brushes. They're Zen Royal Langnickel, really pretty, heavy, nice heavy weight, very stiff. So I might use this like if I do some oils or something, but for watercolor and for lifting out, I just don't do that much, so that I don't do a whole lot of lifting in my watercolor. And when I do, I usually use a softer brush, not a scrubber brush. So that was another one that I didn't do much with this year. Got another one for you, which is not a bad thing. I just don't use it anymore because I found something better. And I talk about it all the time. But if you're new here, you may not know this one. So this is gouache, white gouache, Winsor Newton. It's expensive. I don't know how many of these that have dried up on me. This one got quite a bit of use out of, and I do have those little things that you roll, but I am forever not putting my caps on when I'm in a hurry the correct way, and they dry out. I've had to cut them open. I don't know how many times to get the rest of it in there. I've also used little cups and little tubes with little plastic containers on top to help me keep it fresh, but they always dry out. But when they get dry in a tube, you have to fight with them. So I will kick off. So that's why, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I love Winsor Newton gouache and I still use it, but I'm going to share with you my number one thing for last year that I absolutely love, and it took place of my white gouache. Do you ever have something that's like right in your face, you can't find it? All right, so this is what I use now instead. I use Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Love this stuff. It is already in liquid form. So it's kind of like, as Ellen would say, heavy cream, like how she says that. And if you haven't watched Ellen's channel, she's phenomenal. Check out her channel. She's got a lot of great watercolors and fast ones too. So this is what it looks like. This stuff is great. It's just like gouache for the most part, except it's already got liquid, so I don't have to mix it. The consistency is always perfect. It's great for dipping in with your toothbrush, for snow, things like that. So this, I would say, would be on anybody that is a mixed media watercolorist, because if you're a purist, you want to leave the white of the paper. But if you're like me and you like to paint soft realism, I guess, or that looseness, so that's why I end up using this a lot of times. If I plan something out and I know exactly where the white's going to be, that's a totally different story. I always try to use the white of the paper. I'll use the white of the paper when I'm doing water sometimes. So if you have to like put a bird in or something and you know, drawn it in and it gets too big and you want to kind of make it a little bit smaller. I had another artist that had a snowman and they made the hat too big. So I said, just, you know, cover it up with a little bit of snow on top and bring it down. And this stuff works great for that. So this is like probably my very favorite tool. My next favorite tool, and you've probably seen me use this a lot if you've been on my channel, is the bronze. I am absolutely obsessed with gold this year. I think I'm going to extend this into 2026 as well. But it is powdered pigment, and it's watercolor pigments. You can see that? You probably have seen this before, but you just scoop it out, and I have a little container that I use, that I keep at all times. Scoop it out, put water in there, add water to it, and you can see how shiny that is. It's like gold leaf, liquid gold. That's what it reminds me of. It's kind of like if you've done alcohol inks, it's like the Panada, that gold that they have, the metallics. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I was always trying to find something that would kind of mirror that in watercolor, and I finally found it. So you just have to mix it really, really well. And again, I've got videos on that where I use it so you can see me mixing it. Really, really fun, and it's a little goes a long way with it. I've had this jar for the whole year, and it's like I barely even dipped into it. So it is expensive, but it lasts. For brushes this year, I got this one. My mom got this one for me. It's a Princeton round number 8. I use this one all the time. A lot of my demo ones. It's kind of like a good overall go-to brush. It's lightweight. It's got a nice point when it's wet. It's got a nice spring back, great for like florals and, you know, leaves and things like that when you're pushing down and pulling. And then my other favorite brush, which I did last year, which they still are my favorite brushes, is my Princeton Neptune. Is that a Neptune? That wasn't a Neptune. Yeah, that is a Neptune. The round one's a Neptune too. So Princeton Neptune, the script brush is one of my very favorites, a size 0 or 1. Great for detail lines. But I do have this one. This is another script brush. This is a Sable, Winsor Newton. But so it's a very fine tip brush, and you gotta have one of these. If you are doing any kind of details at all, and if you're working small, even in big paintings, you've gotta have one of those. Like these 2-size brushes are great. When I first did watercolors and I taught many classes, I would use a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch oval wash brush and a liner brush, which actually was the one that came with the Winsor Newton kits. Little tiny one, so it was very similar to this with a nice point on it. So those were the 2 brushes I used for the first 5 years of painting, and I even taught classes that way. So those 2 brushes are great. And then if you want to spoil yourself, which, yeah, these are so gorgeous. These are the handmade brushes by Lebenzon brushes. They're all handmade. Well, they are a fur because I guess he makes these from recycled things like mink fur coats, or he buys stuff from like auctions and things like that so he can recycle things. But he's got goat hair. One's natural goat hair. This one happens to be Siberian elk, and it's so soft. This is a little bit more expensive. They start at like $32 for the goat hair synthetic. So he's got a lot of different ones that you can look at. But the big thing is he makes these all by hand, carves them. Look at this. That's got a little face on that one. He's got some that are a little bit chunkier, but they have like a flat edge here. Some of them have a little stick so they can be propped up. But it's great for holding on the bigger brushes, especially I think as we age, it's sometimes a little easier to hold on to some of those bigger brushes, and it's got that little flat part so it won't roll off your table, which is really good. And they're all handmade. So this one's a little bit smaller. And this one is super big. Look at that one. Gorgeous. This one is the large goat. It's a synthetic blend. So I don't know if it's got goat hair plus synthetic, but he's got all different sizes for these. But the tips on those, look at that. Like it's like a little fly hair on there. And since he hand makes them, he brings them all to a point. So it holds so much water and it holds the paint forever. But you can see the size of that one, big and chunky, and you know, when you're holding it, and it's lightweight, very, very lightweight. I think they're all bamboo. And again, carved. Look, there's a little smiley face on that one too. So he puts a lot of work into these, and they're really, really nice. So if you want to spoil yourself this year, try this. And I do have a 20% off coupon code he gave me through the end of the year. So if you do it, make sure you grab the coupon. So those are absolutely some of my favorite brushes. And then something else kind of really fun. This little tool. I bought this little tool. What is it, you say? So I have these little certificates of authenticity that I've made up. This document confirms that the art piece described here is an original and authentic work created by artist Kellie Chasse. The artist has personally signed this piece by hand. All copyright and reproduction rights to the artwork remain fully within the artist. And then you put the title of work on there, the artist's name, dimension, date it was produced in the medium, and then I sign and date it on the bottom. But what this is a little authenticity puncher. So you just put it up to your paper, you squeeze it, give it a good squeeze. Like, can I hold it for a few minutes? This does take some strength, so you gotta kind of really put your weight behind it when you're doing it. And then you can see here, it gives you the little outline like you would, you know, you have it stamped like a notary. Kind of cool. So, and then that way they know that it's definitely for me. And I have my little stamp of authenticity, so it makes it a little extra special, and it doesn't take much. You can just buy, these are actually inexpensive watercolor cards that I got from Amazon. I didn't really like how the paint held on them, so I repurposed it for this. Okay, and then lastly, I've been using this for a while now too, and I absolutely love it. Dorland's Wax Medium. Usually you have watercolor behind glass, right? So that's a big expense when someone buys some of your artwork, or if you want to frame your own artwork, especially if you get UV glass, it's expensive. But Dorland's Wax, you can attach your watercolors if you glue a watercolor to like a cradle board, and then you use Dorland's Wax Medium over the top of it. It seals your watercolor and you don't have to worry about water ever getting on it. Someone had this on their artwork, and it was in a restaurant where they served spaghetti. A little one, I think they were like 2 years old or something, was flinging spaghetti, and guess what? Spaghetti sauce flung up over the artwork, and the owner was like, oh no, and it was a big piece. And the artist was like, no problem, I have Dorland's wax on it. So they just went up there, it wipes right off. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It does leave a little bit of a sheen if you buff it, and have an online class where I show you how to do this and attach it to a cradle board. So you can check that out. So that's another one of my very favorite things to do. You can actually spray it with a UV protectant too before you add the Dorland's wax on top. All right, folks. Hope that helps. Hope that gives you some ideas for the holidays. If you have an artist friend, an artist mother, an artist brother or sister, craft buddy, best friend, whatever, and you're looking for something to get, and you're looking for things maybe not to get. And again, there's nothing wrong with those things. It just happens. Art's personal. Art supplies are personal. What I might like, you might not. What I don't like, you might love. So, you know, it's always up to interpretation. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I'll give you guys all the links down below for everything in case there's some things that I said I didn't like and you still might want to try it. All right, see you later. Bye.